this is another edition of the Spectre. I'm D.S. Yoxheimer, and this is this is about my experience in broadcast. Basically, I went to broadcast school. I graduated. It didn't yield the results that I would have hoped, but all these years later, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and as it relates to what the state of journalism is now, which everybody knows that there is no journalism. It's just, infotainment. When in the mid-90s, when I was about to graduate from school, I had an internship at a CBS affiliate news bureau office, and it was called the Williamsport Report, and because it just aired pretty much within the city limits through a particular cable provider at the time, and this is like 1995. So, and I was working, interning under a young reporter, and for that summer, and basically, we just, you have the. It was just, if there were car accidents or if there was a fire or all those things, immediately we would go to that, and everything, and put that, and that package would be, video package would be put together at the end of the day, and it would air in a time slot, but it wouldn't air like where actually I live, in Cogan Station outside of Williamsport, which is for some reason, but that's kind of beside the point. But it was just a really small sort of little, operation that WYOU had at the time. They don't, all of those, these days I think all of the affiliates are owned by one conglomerate or whatever, everything is now. The same thing goes for radio. I worked in radio too when I was in high school at 17. Somehow I managed to get a job in radio, and pretty much every job that I've gotten since college for the most part has been, absolutely abysmal. So, but that's beside the point too. So when I interned there, and it was it was a pretty, I would say, coveted internship. I mean, it's hard to get internships usually. It wasn't a paid internship. I don't think there are paid internships, but it was, it cost money actually. It was basically a class, and I wasn't like going to some sort of snooty school, and I don't, think I was really, I don't know. I wasn't really, and I'm not saying any name. I mean, I'm not saying the name of the person that was the reporter that I worked with, and or interned under or anything. And I'm not saying anything bad about her or anything either. But I wasn't. They didn't feel I was really up to snuff or anything like that, because I didn't really know how, what the hell I was supposed to do there. Of course, when I just showed up, I dressed nice, and I was this straight-laced looking guy who before the person that you see today. Of course, not that I'm so edgy now or anything, I don't even have those earlobe gauges or anything to look cool. But, I would just, show up there, try to dress nice, and learn something, and be as useful as possible to her. And, but she wasn't super enthused that I was there. Not that she hated me or whatever, or that she's a mean person, but she just, I gathered that at one point. But at that time, we were basically, I spent most of the day, we'd go to the police station, see if we can, check the blotter, see who did what last night, if there was anything of interest, courthouse, if there was a high-profile trial going on, and there was a murder trial. I remember that summer, so I was in the, we were at the courthouse for that, and we went to perp walks when they would, some drug dealer or whoever got busted, and I'd hold the camera and take some video of somebody in shackles and in the orange jumpsuit thing that they wear oftentimes, and so basically, that's more or less most of the duties I performed there. It was, and it was out of a very, as I said, small. I mean, it wasn't much bigger than this room. Well, it's probably twice the size of this room. This bureau office, and this is a pretty small room. Since then, it's been a vape shop and a instrument store, musical instrument store, or whatever, stuff. It's been a lot of things, because that was a long time ago. But it's one of those things, though, to get into that business, it's either, for some reason, and it might not be something that's just, that you can, that's palpable or whatever, whether they like you or not. You know what I mean? It's hard to tell whether, in any job, but when you're trying to sell yourself on personality, and you have to be kind of on camera and everything like that, and just a lot of things, you know what I mean? You have to really sell yourself and be one of those, because I know people I went to school with there that I graduated with, and they work in the business and stuff like that, and I see one or two of them on TV, and I know one of them is a real asshole, so I'm not gonna, and again, not mentioning names, but a real self-serving, he, apparently thinks he's better than, everybody else. Malignant narcissist, which, I guess that business sort of attracts those sorts of personalities. I'm not sure what kind of personality I am, honestly, but the people that are in that, and there was a lot of, I heard a lot of gossip and dirt when I was there, through the reporter I worked for. Not a lot, a little bit. I shouldn't say a lot. I heard some. Once in a while, she would, in conversation, because there were people from the, other bureau offices and stuff like that, from the NBC affiliate and the NBC, the ABC affiliate at the time, who would, around there, that, and some people were cool and some people weren't, just the way it was, but you would definitely hear, who's, sleeping with you at the main office it was up in the Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area, and all that kind of crap, and it's it kind of reminds you of the movie Anchorman, in a way. When I saw that movie, I thought it was pretty funny, because some of it is a little bit true. There is a lot of backstabbing, and there's a lot of just ego. It's about you. It's not about the story. It's about the reporter and doing the news and salon quality hair, as Ron Burgundy puts it. And so, and for the purposes of this, I'll call the reporter that I interned under Veronica Cordingstone. So Veronica, and it's totally not her name, and I'm not making fun of her or anything like that. She was one of those people. She was not much older than me, obviously. I was, 21, 22 at the time. And, she was, not happy with stuff like that, and not happy with, I guess the office politics, obviously, and which is in everywhere you work, you'll find that. and things like that. But just very, she was very, I don't know if I would say confident, affable. The affable part was a bit of a ruse, though, because she you couldn't, like, she just, she wasn't there to make friends with anybody in particular. I mean, that I could tell, in a way. And I don't think anybody else in that business or any of the other, the local affiliates were either. So it was hard for me to kind of, like, I mean, I mean, when I was interning there, I tried to basically be the best, take the best parts of me and my personality and exhibit that, and learn something, and hopefully, of course, be of some, use to her or whatever. I don't think she felt that I was, but it was just one of those, things where, it was like I was trying to be a part of something, and again, it was like I was basically like, I was there. They let me finish my internship, but I didn't know what their expectations were. They wanted someone ready out of the box, and I was, I never, worked at a TV station before or whatever. I don't know, like, I've always, basically I did when I was growing up, my aspirations were to be like a stand-up comedian, and I wanted to do, something creative. I wanted to be I also wanted to be a comic book artist, things like that, and I thought I was sort of on the path to doing that. And when I got to the point of, I really had to prove myself, because I had to, you have to get references to get into that business, period. I mean, that's it. I mean, if you can't get references after an internship, you can complete an internship, at least I did at the time, and I got like a B on it or something like that. But if you really don't prove yourself, that's the kiss of death, because anybody, there wasn't anybody around there who really wanted to attach their name to me, because that's what you're doing when you, that's what they're doing when they give you a reference, is they're, oh, yeah, I have so much confidence in this person that, they'll do a great job for you, or they'll do a great job here where I'm at, because an internship can be, of course, a foot in the door of working at the place you're interning at, of course. And I wasn't, I wasn't used to things working out, when I was growing up, because I had such a hard time in school and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, 60-40, whether this would all work out. I was surprised they even graduated. So school, and so generally it was just kind of like, it was definitely interesting, and I got to learn a lot of things, and about my town, and how, dirty the local politics are, and how much, and all that, and how corrupt police are, and law enforcement. I'm not going to say specifically what or anything like that. I'm just saying that's what you learn when you're at the police station, at least it was about every day I was interning there. So, because you just hear stuff. You're standing around, and there's police officers talking, and there was a scandal that summer of they were a special drug task force team that was put together by Tom Marino, by the way. Pretty much sure you've heard of him. He was going to be appointed to Trump's what was it, drug czar, or what the fuck was that shit? I can't remember, but anyway, he was an appointee of Donald Trump for something like last year, and I can't remember what it was, but he was the DA in Williamsport, and I am saying Tom Marino's name, I don't care. He's a fucking dick, because people call him, I mean, he's just a corrupt, I would say, I don't know exactly, I'm not going to necessarily speculate what I think he's connected with, but long story short, though, at that time he was the DA, and it was called the Dart Team, and they a couple of them were drunk at a restaurant, or I don't know if they were drunk, but they were in a parking lot, and they were harassing a biracial couple. It was, I think, a black woman and a white dude. I knew who they were. I didn't know them, like personally, but I knew who they were. It was just one of those things. They were just harassing them. They were calling them, probably racial slurs, and it was one of those little scandals that sort of went away. And I didn't meet them, but I was right, like standing nearby, and I saw some members of the Dart Team, and like they seemed like a bunch of hicks, and I wouldn't. It's no wonder. So that happened that summer, and also there was this reporter named Jim Remick who was busted for it was child sexual abuse, and I think it was child pornography. It was pretty messed up, but his name is Jim Remick. I don't know what happened to him. Not sure if he's like alive or what. I have no idea if he's in prison still or whatever, but it was bad. And I saw him around before that scandal hit, and then and I think that was Channel 16. That was the 16 is ABC, or was back then. I don't know I think 16's still around. It can come back on me. They're trying to bury that whole thing, and I'm bringing it up all these years later. But